Hello, my friends. It's Nanny. No Moosey today. Moosey's taking a little break. As a matter of fact, he's snoozing right now over there. And I would like to bring you up to date on what's going on in our life. We've had a week of celebrations, happy times, and also some worries. And today, a day of sadness. We're going to take a little break from our early years series, but we will get back to it probably in the next video. This morning, one of our dear friends and relatives passed away. My Margie, who is our fourth child, I think I've told you, has been caring for her in-laws. This man was my daughter Margie's father-in-law, her husband Mike's dad, a wonderful man who has been married to his wife Kathy for 61 years. And the sad part about it is that Kathy, over the past couple years, has been slowly going into Alzheimer's, and at this point is even unaware of the passing of her husband, and that's the saddest part too. We knew him well. He was a great missionary all his life. He went on missionaries, dealing with the poor. He was in countries all over the world, giving his service through his church. They were big Presbyterian members. And he and his wife, Kathy, both gave great service to the Lord in all these missions. The other wonderful thing about Doug is that he was a Boy Scout leader for years and years. And fortunately for us and our son Mikey, he was the Boy Scout leader locally when Mikey was 10 years old and started the Boy Scouts. And many's the night up in the Sierras on camping trips and various other things, Mikey would sit with Doug talking about the stars on fire watch. And Mikey became very fond of this wonderful man over the years. As a matter of fact, he took Mikey all the way through to becoming an Eagle Scout at 15, which was a great honor. We also spent a wonderful couple of weeks in Ireland with Doug and Kathy and all our children on one of our times when the whole family went to Ireland and had a wonderful time. So we would like to ask your prayers, not only for Doug, who is happily in heaven at peace now, I'm sure, and also for Kathy and our grandchildren and Mike and his brothers. I appreciate it so much. Wonderful thing that happened this week, or a week ago actually now, is our beautiful great-granddaughter, Annie Grace, was born, big 10 pounds, and I'm going to put pictures on of Annie and her daddy and mommy. She was a C-section, and we're very, very happy about that. Molly was a champ, did a great job, and they're all at home with little baby Kelly, big sister, having a wonderful time. Kelly's 22 months old and enthralled with her little baby sister. The most wonderful picture of Annie with her daddy. Daddy is holding her in his arms and she's looking right up into his eyes. And this is a picture that I think will be on Annie's dresser in her room the rest of her life. A few of the worries. I think I already told you that quite a number of people within our family, of course we have 53 people in the family, have been down with COVID, mostly the young adults. And fortunately, everyone's recovering well. So that's kind of the way our week's been going. The celebrations have been birthdays too. Lots of birthdays of grandchildren. January is a big month for us. Moose and I are well. We are pretty much isolating and finding things to keep us busy. Most of all, we've been enjoying the wonderful episodes that we've been doing on the videos that you all seem to be enjoying immensely. And I want to thank you right now for all your comments. So many of you have felt and told us about your stories of living abroad and doing all the wonderful things that we did too. And I love this. As a matter of fact, that forum that I was talking about of sharing your stories with each other and all of you reading all the comments, I think is a wonderful idea. We have this circle of friends going. Now I want to talk about someone very special, someone that I'm going to call this the theory of 2.5 degrees of separation in this world has seemed to come to fruition for Patricia and I. And I'm going to talk about Patricia in a minute. So here's my story about the 2.5 degrees of separation theory. As you wonderful people are talking about how much you're enjoying our series of the early years and my anniversary and Moosey's anniversary video, which I have suggested that you watch, that has information about our backgrounds and so forth and so on. One gal by the name of Patricia, who is a Jersey gal like me, hi Patricia, has been corresponding. And she noticed that I lived in Montclair, New Jersey, growing up and so forth and so on, and that I had mentioned a few names and that my heritage on both my mother's and father's sides was in Ireland, in Roscommon County. We started chatting back and forth, and we discovered that we had some names that were in common. She said, I wonder if we're related. I said, no, wouldn't that be funny? Well, this went on until we realized that a McHugh that was in her family was a woman that my mother was one of my mom's girlfriends before she was married, Helen McHugh. And Helen was in her wedding, and Helen was in her life all after she married, also from New Jersey. Well, this went on until Patricia looked back into a video of ours from 1.5 years ago, a St. Patrick's Day video that we talked about cooking Irish and talking Blarney. And I was sharing a recipe. Moose was holding up the recipe card that said Nora Faye's Irish soda bread. And I talked about how my mom had this friend, Nora Faye, and my grandma used to make the Irish bread, but Nora had started using Bisquick and so forth. This went on. Well, it turns out that Patricia was a Faye. And to make a long story short here, to just show you all, maybe we're all related. Who knows, for heaven's sakes. But would you believe that Patricia and I grew up on the same street in New Jersey? She is 9 or 11 years younger than I am. And her sister, Noreen, graduated with me in my high school in Montclair, New Jersey. Now, this is amazing. We took the 76 bus back and forth from school to our street. Isn't this an amazing thing? I think this is wonderful. And Patricia, I am so happy to know you as a friend. Patricia now lives in Seaside, California, which is up the coast, I think, up a little bit above Monterey. And Patricia also spent, I think, 30 years in Germany. So she had fun traveling around the world too. I don't know whether it was military or not. I can't remember. But it's so fun to realize that I have a friend of my heart now that I probably will never meet. But how exciting. And who knows, maybe some of the rest of you and I have so much. I'm sure we have lots in common. Yeah. Oh, by the way.
It's 6 degrees. I told you the wrong number.
Oh, 6. Oh, Moosey's telling me here that I got it all wrong. Actually, he did tell me it was 2.5 degrees. But I've said it so many times now. It's really 6.5 degrees of separation. 6. Yeah, not 2.5. So he's just corrected me. So at any rate. By the way, I just realized that in the whole beginning part of the video, I didn't have eye makeup on. And that's because I had gotten a new one that I saw on, maybe it was Natalie's YouTube, a new one that said it's supposed to have the effect of false eyelashes. And I don't know whether it does or not. I bought 3 of them, one to give to one of my daughters and maybe a granddaughter or 2, but I'm going to show you up close. Do I look like I have false eyelashes on? Probably not, but it must be good. And it was very reasonable. I'll put it in the description just in case you're interested. I'm losing my light here anyway. It's sort of the end of the day. It's a bad hair day, and it's kind of been a busy day around here too. One other sad thing to tell you of the past week is, as you know, you've met all our doggies here on our little compound. They all belong to Colleen and Micah and her family, but we love them because they come down to Nanny and Moose's little cottage all the time because I have goodies for them. And all their dogs have all been our dogs too. Shasta, the oldest one, is about 10. She's the black lab, and I know you've seen her in our past videos. Well, Shasta has had an ugly thing on her lip for a while, and she has had some problems in the past with cysts and things, but she always seems to recover. The other dogs, which came around about 1.5 years ago, Coda, the beautiful husky with the blue eyes, and Harley, the golden retriever, both of them are babies, really, and Shasta has been the mom. These babies came, Harley and Coda came to Shasta when they were pups of 6 weeks old, and Shasta mothered them, and the 2 of these dogs play, not going to say the word, but it's play crazy with each other all the time. But with Shasta, they're very respectful. Well, Shasta had an operation this past week on this cyst that's been on her lip, and has been wearing this cute little pink, that little thing that they put around your head to keep her from touching her. And the dogs have been very respectful of her. But I just got a notice from Colleen an hour ago that it's bad news, that this thing on her lip is cancer. And it's what the vet said, the bad kind, which means she probably has it throughout her body, and if not, it will be soon. So it's going to be a bad time for the 3 kids. This dog has been here with all of us for 10 years. Wonderfully behaved, beautiful dog. So it's been a week. It's been a hard and a happy week for us. Now, in the next video or 2, next video, it's going to be about the early years again, probably, when we'll get all revved up again to start talking more about raising our children in California. And after that, we'll probably kind of whip through all those years quickly in one video. But the big one that I'm looking forward to, and the one that I think a lot of you, maybe more of you than have been watching these, might be interested in, is all about retirement. And we will discuss our retirement. A lot of you have had questions about it. How did we prepare for it? What have we done in it? And I tell you, my dear friends, we have made the most of our retirement. We've been very fortunate to have had the good health and the thinking and the mental attitude to be able to enjoy it immensely, not only with the family and all the children and the grandchildren who we live so close to and are with all the time, but also travels and other fun things that we have done. But we'll tell you about that in that retirement video, which will be within 2 videos from now. But what I wanted to just kind of skim over with you today is some information. I've done a little bit of reading about retirement, and some of the information that is suggested for people who are getting ready for retirement. And I guess the question is, are you ready for retirement? And there's several questions that you have to ask yourself and things that you have to go over in order to prepare not only financially and physically, but mentally for retirement. And some of the information, can't see. Some of the information is comical, but some of it is very real. And I read an article in Kiplinger's Personal Finance. It wasn't the magazine itself, but it was an article from the magazine written by a woman called Eleanor Lays or Lazy. And it was interesting. And what she started off with was obviously the first one, financial. And that includes a portfolio, equity in a home. Are you going to sell your home and have all the equity? Is your mortgage paid off? Things like that. Personal finances. Of course, you should be on Social Security, unless those of you who are retiring early might not be getting your Social Security yet. And of course, health. The healthcare is expensive. And if you have not reached the Medicare requirement age of 65, then you have to be prepared with that. But some of the quotes of some of the people that were interviewed, one man said, I thought retirement was going to be all kinds of fun. Am I having fun yet? This was after 3 months of gardening and playing with the grandchildren and a few other things. And he realized it wasn't enough for him. So you have to think about what you've enjoyed doing all your life. Are you going to be satisfied mentally with what you think you'll be doing? Now that brings up expectancy, expecting the unexpected to happen. And you have to think about that. One of the last things that I'll just mention is test before you buy, or try before you buy. And I think in that case, they're talking about all your life, you've probably thought about retiring maybe to Florida or some island. And so you've been there once or twice, you thought it was great. So you go off and you buy yourself a little place, and then you get there and you find, this isn't it for me. I'm missing the kids. I don't like where we are permanently, so forth and so on. It also goes with motorhomes and trailers. A lot of people on a whim will think that's the way I want to travel and buy something before they retire, when they realize maybe it's a lot of work, it's a lot of maintenance, and maybe renting once or twice a year might be better than owning one and not using it. So think about some of these things if you're in your 50s, maybe even 40s or 60s, about, are you prepared? Are you ready for retirement? And in our video, we will tell you our experiences. For me, retirement was twofold. And I'll explain in the video what that meant. It meant leaving the home, not selling it yet, but leaving it to move somewhere else that seemed like retirement, but really wasn't. And what I had to do in my head. I think that's it. As I said, this is going to be a short one. And once again, I please ask your prayers for my daughter Margie's in-laws and family, and our grandchildren on the passing of Doug. And prayers for everyone else who might need them right now. Maybe even Shasta. So in closing, thank you all so much for all the lovely things that you said. And I'm so glad you're all enjoying our early years series. We'll get back to it. And Patricia, somehow we'll figure out a way to correspond. I love you all. Bye for now. God bless us all.